So is all of this achievable? Well, for more on Biden's infrastructure plan, let's bring in Michael Kodransky. He's the U.S. Director of the Institute for Transportation and Development Policy. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
So for people who aren't familiar, how do American trains, roads, and other key infrastructure compare to other developed nations?
Well, the U.S. has succeeded in building a national highway system, and what we see now is a country of captive drivers with few other options for how to get to destinations. If we look to other countries like Colombia, they've set national policies and investments in things like bus rapid transit in a multitude of places. And if we look to the UK, they've set national policy guidance on minimizing parking provision. So there's a lot that the federal government can do.
Now, the Council on Foreign Relations estimates that U.S. infrastructure is dangerously overstretched, with a funding gap of more than $2 trillion needed by 2025. Does that sound like a fair estimate? And how did it even get to this point?
Well, the pandemic has revealed that people are tired of rush hour and sitting in traffic. And there are a lot of low-cost interventions and investments that can be made. If we look to places like Paris, they're prioritizing 15-minute neighborhoods, and Sweden is talking about 1-minute neighborhoods. These are the ideas that can inform the incoming administration. And I think there's a historic opportunity to prioritize short-distance trips that are comfortable, safe, affordable, and reliable.
Now, we do keep hearing a lot about this need for improvement in infrastructure, but when was the last time a major investment was actually made in terms of U.S. railways and bridges, etc.?
Well, Joe Biden has famously said that don't tell me your values, show me your budget, and I'll tell you your values. There is an opportunity now to really prioritize investment in walking, cycling, and public transit, which currently gets a small fraction of the funding pie. There is an opportunity to recalculate the funding formula to invest in existing infrastructure before expanding highways, as we've done for so many decades. And it's no secret that Joe Biden loves trains.
And so then what do you think historically has stalled more investment going into this industry?
Well, it's that funding formula. So with the national government prioritizing changing the funding formula, which currently prioritizes highway expansion and gives investment from the national level much less to cities and states for walking, cycling, and public transit, which now is so much more critical as people during the pandemic are spending much more time in their neighborhoods and need to make more trips between neighborhoods, not long distance.
Now, as we know, the Trump administration launched several infrastructure weeks over the past 4 years. What were they hoping to achieve, and how much of that is still left undone?
Well, like I said, people now during the pandemic, they are looking to short distance trips, which is the current reality faced by most with the pandemic. They're tired of rush hour, so there is an opportunity to invest in walking, cycling, and public transit like we've never seen before.
And did we see much of that progress come under the Trump administration?
Well, the opportunity to move the country into a new historic place of infrastructure within the climate change priorities that the new administration has set is greater than we've ever seen before.
So then you mentioned climate change. What exactly do we know about Biden's priorities in terms of his specific approach to how he's going to be looking at infrastructure?
Well, he's created a cabinet-level position to focus on climate change. Gina McCarthy, who comes from NRDC, and he is likely to include the climate agenda within every part of his administration, embedded within different agencies and departments.
I also want to get your impressions of Pete Buttigieg being named as Transportation Secretary. What sort of ideas does he bring to the role, and what do we know about his infrastructure agenda?
Well, as a former mayor, he understands the challenges that are faced between cities and county governments, state, regional, and national government. And the DC-based policy group Transportation for America gave him a perfect score for his transportation priority vision when he was running for president. The announcement yesterday of Polly Trottenberg, the former commissioner of the New York City Department of Transportation, to be deputy secretary, I think bodes well for them being serious about getting things done.
All right, well, thank you for your time. Michael Kodransky there, the U.S. Director for the Institute for Transportation and Development Policy.